However, it raises ethical donuts related to demonology. Usually I've been able to figure out what this script means just from the context. What the fuck is an ethical donut?
Hi, Sophie.
Hang on, I have to check the script you gave me. Hi, Sim.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Snack Covenant. Today, we're talking about Raymond Delver from the Mortuary Assistant.
A game I've never played.
Now, Sophie, let me tell you a little bit about Raymond.
Okay.
He was born in the 19th...
Can you explain? Can you tell me what the Mortuary Assistant is? Because I have no idea.
Well, you'll find out. It's actually later down in the script. If you had prepared for this with the script I sent you...
Yeah. So let's just another little interruption here. My apologies. But the script you sent me, I actually couldn't open the file because you forgot to add me as someone who had permission to access it. So it would just give me an error
added you like 15 minutes ago. So technically you did have access before we started recording.
I mean, this is better than the time you gave me the script, and I believe it was in, 4-point font, and thus completely unreadable.
Raymond Delver was born in the 1940s, somewhere in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
He was born either in Connecticut or not far from it. It's not clear what happened to him in his youth, but he came in contact with the demonic in the 60s. So he would have probably been like somewhere in his 20s at the time.
What do you mean by the demonic? Like, did he summon a demon, or was there just did something possess him, or?
Well, Sophie, if you just pay attention to the script.
Okay,
It's not clear what is meant by the demonic. However...
Oh! So that bit's not in pink, so I'm not supposed to read it.
We have a diary entry that he wrote, which might shed light into that first demonic encounter. Go ahead, Sophie.
Okay, good. July 5th, 1966. I'm lost. Everything I thought I believed, everything I've been told, has been wrong. They came here so certain they could end it. All I've learned is that no religion fully understands the demonic. Every single one has distilled their version of the devil down to simple concepts meant to scare those with no moral compass into behaving. No intention of truly combating this evil. Fucking cowards. They failed, abandoned me, and left me with no choice but to deal with this myself. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of being alone. I've put up with enough of this. I have one new hope left, and I'm going to use it to finally start my life. I hope you suffer.
So essentially, that's all the information we get about his first demonic experience.
But what kind of game is it? I'm assuming it's like a survival horror game? Or
Have
like
you heard of a little word called patience?
But you've streamed the game, we just haven't watched them back yet.
So, Sophie, this encounter had a very deep impact on him.
Okay,
Raymond went on to study the mortuary sciences after this, encounter with the occult.
Okay.
May you please read the next diary entry?
November 1st, 1966. School has been so much better. I'm finally doing well again, and I'm happy to be back. However, even with life finally being the best it's been, it still eats at me. She was horrible and the worst thing in my life for so long, but I still feel it. I suppose it's best for me to be alone now. At least the dead don't talk anymore.
Interesting. So, yeah, it's very, very obscure, very mystical. Who do you think he's talking about?
I'm going to look up gameplay so I know what this is supposed to be.
Sophie, no! Sophie, just stop. Stop it, I forbid it.
Okay, fine.
So, when he says she, who do you think he's talking about? What vibes does it give you?
Is it did he have a controlling mother?
It's never explicitly stated, but I think, this is directed toward his mother. Okay. Good. Well done, Sophie. Now, to continue, in the 70s, Raymond opened the Riverfields Mortuary in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Basically, Raymond realized that corpses are vessels for demons that he can use. They enter our realm.
Okay.
And The mortuary gives him access to those vessels, right? Does
Okay.
that make sense?
I mean, it escalated quickly, but yeah. When did he find this out?
It's unclear, but basically, like,
Okay.
demonic possession happens.
Right.
Somehow his mother is involved. He gets kind of obsessed with the entire thing, goes to study the
Mm-hmm.
mortuary
Mm-hmm.
sciences,
Mm-hmm.
realizes that, like, maybe as he's like embalming people or something, realizes that the
Yeah.
corpses are like vessels and are sort of like a magnet to all these demonic things happening. So he
Okay.
opens a mortuary where he can embalm people and so attract these like forces to, I guess, interact with or maybe banish, right? Make sense so far?
I mean, I have a lot of questions, but you go, no, 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 if I ask them. So I'm just like,
Okay, ask them.
yes, Sin,
Let's see
that
it.
makes complete sense.
Okay, but ask your questions.
Are the demons like possessing the corpses and he's like talking to the demons through the corpses? Or are they just attracted to corpses?
That's a good question. So basically, he works on the corpses, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
as he's working on a corpse, weird things start happening around him. Maybe his mother's like image appears in front of him and then disappears.
Right,
It could
right.
be that the lights start flickering. He could
Mm-hmm.
straight up see like a demonic figure in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that, let's say, somebody from his past appears like in front of him, starts like bullying
Mm-hmm.
him and stabbing him, and he thinks it's real, but turns out it's a hallucination. It could
Mm-hmm.
be also you have like full blown scenarios unroll where you're like literally in another place, something else is happening, and you're in that scenario, and then you're back to where you were.
So you're playing as this guy, or are you cleaning up after this guy's did something terrible?
Well, Sophie, that's a very good question. Keep hold on to it. I'm just telling you
What am I allowed
how
to ask versus what's going to be explained later?
you're allowed to ask. It's just like I'm not at liberty to say sometimes. That's all. So does that make sense? So basically, he's embalming
Yeah,
his
yeah.
little bodies, and all
Okay.
these things happen, and then they can be anything. They're mostly like hallucinations, but sometimes there's physical things that happen. Like you could like trip and fall because of it. You could find yourself outside in
Mm-hmm.
the dirt. So it's not
Okay.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
unconsequential. The thing is, as he's embalming his bodies, as all these things are happening, his methods aren't perfect yet. He's still like learning
Mm-hmm.
and figuring things out, right?
Is this his methods for embalming or his methods for interacting with demons?
So his methods for embalming, because he learned the mortuary sciences, they're pretty standard. He does standard stuff.
Okay. So he doesn't embalm them in a special way that makes demons.
I think he's like dabbing into it. He's trying to see, well, what's working? Like, how can I improve this? Right?
Okay.
Throughout his like work, he had several assistants, the
Mm-hmm.
mortuary assistants.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was David Withlow.
Okay.
However, unfortunately, David got possessed by a demon, which led to his death. And
Mm-hmm.
the implication is that Raymond actually buried him in the backyard of the mortuary. Oh my god, my boyfriend scared me a little bit. He just showed up as a shadow of a demon in the corner. That's something that happens in the mortuary assistant. Okay. So that's the thing, because like let's say you're playing with the dark forces, embalming your bodies, things are
Yeah.
happening. There's actually a chance you will get possessed if you don't do things properly.
Yeah.
May you please read the next entry of the journal?
May 29th, 1984. I'm not sure why I've decided to write this. I don't keep journals, but it may be the only way I can deal with what's happened. To get my thoughts out. I thought this was over, but it's happened to David. I remember so vividly what it looks like. I don't have a plan here. I just wanted to write. June 3rd, 1984. I keep thinking about David. I feel horrible. What he became was terrifying. I remember everything, but I haven't seen it in a living person before. I knew in my gut what was happening, but I couldn't believe it. It's been almost 2 decades. When the body came in, David almost instantly began to become irritable. We both knew something strange was happening that had directly affected him. He felt sick and went home for the day, only to return that evening saying it felt like he had to come back and wanted to work. At that point, I couldn't ignore it. I tried to tell him he was in danger, that this was all real. He insisted on working and became irrational again and asked to work alone. I again told him what to look for, but he dismissed me. I went and bought a camcorder and told him to at least record anything unusual. I wanted to be able to show him once he was in a moment of clarity show him once he was in a moment of clarity so that maybe he would allow me to help him, but it all happened so fast and was over.
Thank you, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
Now you think, oh my God, after what happened to David, Raymond realizes maybe I shouldn't be hiring people to mess with the demonic, or maybe I should prepare them better so this doesn't happen again.
You learn from your mistakes.
But not him, not Raymond though, because he had another assistant named James.
Oh,
May you
okay.
please read the next entry?
April 3rd, 1985. I don't know what else to do. I feel helpless. I'm so sorry, James.
And then you're thinking, okay, at this point he learned. But then there was Andrea. Could you please read the next entry?
Well, I'm sure it'll work this time, because it's rule of 3. August 10th, 1985. Andrea now.
Oops.
It won't stop. I don't know what to do. Obviously, not everyone is susceptible. I've learned that much. It makes me want to never hire anyone again. This is the third death. It makes me never want to hire anyone again, but I can't lose the mortuary either. Even if I did close, it would still happen to me eventually.
So now he's considering not hiring anybody again, closing the mortuary. So you're like, okay, now he's learning.
Yep.
Please read the next entry.
November 16, 1987. Back to writing here again. It's been so long, I thought it was over. But I guess I've just been lucky. I'm scared. I was hoping this would never happen again, but I have a feeling this is only going to happen more. Poor Angela. This is a horrible existence.
Obviously, he shows some guilt, some remorse. Mm-hmm. He's probably a little depressed. Mm-hmm. But he keeps going.
Can I ask a question? Does he have one assistant at a time and this keeps happening? Or does he have a whole lot of assistants and it's just every year or so one gets very unlucky?
I'd say I feel like he maybe has one or two at a time. Mm-hmm. But because there's demonic stuff happening, I feel like eventually everyone just gets possessed and either, I don't know, something happens to them or he has to kill them. Because we learned from the game that let's say if you're like, hey Sin, I got this very cool job at the mortuary down the street with Raymond.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, no, you don't want that. That's something creepy is happening there. Don't go work there. So people know that something's happening. I'm assuming people know that their disappearance is related to it. It's just nothing can really be proven, I guess. So it's like an open secret where that's a bad place. It's creepy. Don't go there. It's bad news.
But is it just operating as a mortuary like normally?
Yes. So basically, it's a normal mortuary, but at the same time,
apart from it's a normal mortuary with one key difference.
Exactly.
Which is that it's haunted by demonic entities that possess the people that work there. But other than that, it's normal.
Exactly. No, that's the thing. But only Raymond knows this for sure. So if you go work there, you'd be like, oh, it must be rumors, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then you find out that, oh, it's not just rumors. This is happening. You may find out.
Or, I need to ask a question about this game that I don't know anything about and you won't answer any questions about.
Yeah.
Is all this stuff with people disappearing at the mortuary and everyone sort of knows it's happening? Do the police ever look into this, or is it just not a thing?
There's no... I think there's no record of the police looking into it in a way where it would make Raymond worried about it.
Okay.
So maybe it's been looked into, but it's like not in a way where he's very, very careful about what he's doing.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's a good question. Maybe he paid off the police. I don't know, but it's not very emphasized.
So this game, this is like you're investigating the mortuary after this happens?
This is interesting. Oh, I'm never going to tell you what it's about because your ideas are so interesting.
I don't know anything about this, but I'm picturing it's like Amnesia or something, or Outlast, where you're just in first person moving around a place, and there's technically ways to die, but it's not like an action game, and there's no way to fight back against the things, and you just have to hide from them. That's what I'm picturing in my head.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You're close, actually.
Okay.
That's very, very good.
Okay, yeah.
Now, the purpose of this episode is we're analyzing Raymond. There's a couple of characters.
I don't know anything about you're analyzing Raymond. I don't know what this is.
You're bringing in
for
your
reference, if anyone's like, why isn't Sophie prepared? Sin messaged me like, I think it was less than 24 hours ago, to say, I need you to be up to record about Mortuary Assistant with me in my morning. Please look pretty. That was the entire brief. I don't know what Mortuary is. I know she's streamed it. I don't know what it is. I have never played it. The last game, I have 13 games in my Steam library. And the second most recent one was purchased in 2022.
Yeah, and I sent it to you like as you were going to sleep, and then you had things
that's
to
true.
do the next day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Sophie. Back to Raymond. So he feels guilt.
Okay.
It's clear he's feels depression. He's agonizing over it, but he won't stop doing it. And I think part of
that makes me wonder about how this whole guilt thing's working.
Well, I think
he's clearly not feeling that much guilt.
Well, I honestly think Sophie, his mindset is like he's obsessed at this point. Like it's like his purpose, this whole demon thing. So,
but like, does he have an end game, or is the game about figuring out what his end game is? Like, is he trying to do something, or is he just obsessed?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think he's it's like it gave him purpose and he can't let go, right? And at the same time, I feel it's a little bit like, well, I've gone this far. I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, but I mean, I understand in theory, yeah.
Could you please read the next entry from November 16th?
I almost fell victim before. It's only a matter of time until it chooses me. I don't want to be alone, but I think there is no escaping what has happened. I will miss you always, Maria, but it was the right thing to leave you to keep you safe. I know you would never understand. So he's keeping this person safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
so this exactly.
He's supposed to be terrible, I'm assuming.
He's complex. Like Lawrence.
Continue.
So, I actually thought the same thing. So the assistants are pretty expendable, but Maria, guys, we gotta keep her safe, right? So that also makes me think, like, I'm guessing he's not really describing, like, demonic possessions in his job postings.
Is this why it's set in the 80s, because LinkedIn doesn't exist yet?
1 out of 5 do not work there.
It's like rating it out of 5 in there. It's like, atmosphere, leave, hours, flexibility, demonic possessions. Ooh.
No, Sophie?
Yes.
All these failures, all these deaths, all these interferences with his relationship made Ray realize something.
Okay.
He needs to establish protocols and do more research so he can do this better.
He needs, like, a policy manual that covers this, really.
Did you just say?
I said the P word. Girls only want one thing, and it starts with P. That's right, policy.
Hi cultists. Sophie and Sin are currently working on the Season 2 analysis of Reborn. If you want to see their 5-hour analysis of Season 1 of Reborn, please see the pinned comment. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Now, Sophie, may you please read the next entry?
March 27, 1989. I've been working relentlessly, and I believe I have made some progress. I haven't pieced together much, but I have found out that it's led me to a contact in Egypt. I'm flying out there in a few days to meet him and talk about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that Egypt thing is very interesting because it's making me think of the way that, like, Egyptian people were mummified and embalmed.
Oh.
Is this where it's going?
Perhaps.
Ooh.
Ooh. May you please read the next entry?
April 29, 1989. My trip to Egypt was extremely successful, I feel. I'm broke now, but it was worth it. Mr. Salah is an amazing help. I've come back with mountains of documents and copies of religious texts I had no idea existed. It's changed a lot of what I believe. I'm going to start poring over these and see what I can piece together. There's something here. I can feel it.
So, again, he's looking into the demonic thing, like, he's broke. It's this obsession that's being taken too far. Like, if this was, like, real life, he's probably friends with family.
It was taken too far when the people died. It's been too far for a while.
So I feel like if this was like real life, people would be like, okay, we need to do an intervention. Like, he has like boards and like clippings and like things on his wall and, you know, like red string and...
I mean, I've got a giant skull and a glow-in-the-dark ghost behind me, so... I can't, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
I got my dollar store witch mug.
Oh, that's so nice. I got my thrift store architectural mug.
Yep. You also dressed as a devil. That's happened. You appear to have forgotten.
No, Sophie.
Okay.
May you please read the next entry?
December 8. Sorry, I just looked up and your notes say, at this point he's probably causing more harm than good. Probably. Who can say? Okay. December 8, 1989. I'm so tired and angry. I feel so helpless. I can't do this anymore. Valerie didn't do anything to deserve this. Oh no! None of them did. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm keeping Valerie here. I can help her. I'm sure of it. I feel like I'm so close to something that can stop this, but I don't know what I'm missing. I've been working on a number of things that are meant to combat these entities. I have found ways to uncover the sigils, which is promising. I have distilled this down to a science, and I know I can find the missing piece. I will help you, Valerie. I guess Valerie's not dead yet.
Yeah, and he's really trying to help her. So I feel like at this point, there's like what do you call it? Like a character arc. There's growth. He realizes that this is bad. But I need to, maybe like, Valerie's his redemption. He will find a way to save her.
I feel like the redemption is not exposing her to this in the first place.
So, I just have some notes, and they're reiterating what we already said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like at this point, maybe the best thing to do is turn yourself into the police. Just like deal with the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Also, stop summoning demonic entities.
But at the same time, right, if he's trying to save Valerie, like, if he does that, it's the end for her. I don't think the police will believe that she's possessed by a demon, and then...
No, but wouldn't they still notice a whole lot of people are disappearing at this mortuary where this guy works, and he's, like, got all these, like, weird documents and stuff?
The thing is, later, actually, that's a good question. Later, I'll reveal that he also started working as a professor.
Okay.
So maybe people who worked for him were like students, maybe international students who are like, I just got to get some experience, right? So they come in and then it's like, oh, they didn't disappear. They just went back home. Oh, yeah.
This is entirely believable. Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, he needed better protocols, right? He needed to develop stuff, tools. And basically in the mortuary, he has a computer. I think it's like a Windows 95 or a 98.
When is the game set?
I think 98, but I don't know if he has the latest version. I can't remember. So basically on the computer, he has his like embalming software, whatever stuff where you enter data.
Software.
Like basically when you get a body,
does it
right?
have a little mummy that pops up and gives you advice?
Basically when you get a body in a mortuary, you have to like examine it, look at it, like does it have, do they have scratches, whatever, and then you enter it in a database.
Yeah.
So he has that, but he also has another database, which is called the night shift database. Now this one's a little different, and he should really keep it secure. This database only requires a password, and the password is found on the back of his ID card, which he leaves in an unlocked drawer in like a very visible cabinet. Now, Sophie, if you scroll down to the pink part, I outlined the database into several sections. There's like section 1, section 2.
Okay, so section 1 of the Night Shift database is the homepage. The homepage contains the introduction to the database, features a personal message from Raymond, and outlines the steps of banishing a demon, such as the embalming with the baleful region and using leading strips to find sigils, comparing them to demon names, observing bodies for possession signs, and last but not less last. And last but not least, incinerating the correct body. Section 2, History of the Demonic. This section looks into the lore and background of demons, providing context for their existence, actions, and behavior. This includes subsections as well, which are Section 3, Recovered Language. Section 3. Is Section 3 the subsection because you're literally rewriting this as I'm reading it?
Yes, I rewrote it wrong. Damn it, I tried to make it better. Okay, so the history of the demonic...
We're looking at a shared Google document which Sin is rewriting as I'm reading it.
So, I think history of the demonic, I can't remember, has recovered language? Oh, there's like 3 or 4 subsections? Wait, I'm trying to remember. Okay, let me remove the sections. So, forget about the sections. Just read.
Okay. Recovered Language discusses the ancient language used by demons. The Halls of Hell describes the realms associated with demons. Quarterletting explains the process of dividing demonic in... Is it dividing or do you mean divining?
I don't remember. I wrote it at like night and I was drinking.
The Lesser Spirits details entities that assist demons in their activities. Identifying demonic tendency. This section provides guidance on recognizing which body is possessed. It includes indicators like new marks, twitching, and any other weird stuff. Sigils of demonic names. This section contains a list of demon names and the corresponding sigils. It helps identifying the demon by matching the sigils found with leading strips to a demon's name. The 3 demonic houses for which each demon which demon belongs are Immolation, Invidious, and Desolation. Let's talk about the tools used for banishing demons. Leading strip. Leading strips are tools used to detect demonic sigils hidden around the mortuary. When close to a sigil, the strip ignites in your hand, revealing a sigil placed on a physical surface. It is very spoopy. Thank you, Sin. By getting all the sigils, you can get into the Night Shift database and identify the demon. So you need the sigils to use the database, or does it just help you use the database?
Basically, it just helps. In the database, there's like each demon name, and under the name, it's like, this demon has these 4 sigils, but these one has these 4. So you just gotta match the sigil to the name.
I don't know if you would know this off the top of your head, but are the demons in this game, are they like created for the game, or are they using like the Key of Solomon or like the Goetia or something?
So I was gonna look into it, honestly, and I just didn't have time. So I don't know.
We could have done this another day.
But no, I actually looked. Okay, so I looked into the houses. So the houses aren't real. Like Immolation, Invidious, Desolation. It's the reference is taken from religion. I also looked at the demons, the main, because there's like a bunch of demons, but then there's a main spirit in each house. Like
Right.
Immolation has, I think, the Shadow Man. Invidious
Okay.
has the Mimic, and Desolation has, like, I think the Lady in White. But I
Okay.
don't think
Yep.
those are like real. So I'm
No, they
assuming
sound like they were
maybe.
made up for this.
Yeah, but like the okay,
Yeah.
actually no, Sophie, I have actually been taking notes. We can actually figure this out right now. So one of the demons in the database under the House of Immolation is Balmet. Let's Google Balmet.
What you mean? Is it like
MET.
BAALM? So that's like
Yeah.
half Baal, half Baphomet.
Well, I found a website of somebody called John Paul Balmet.
He's clearly a demon.
So Balmet isn't real. What about Anek? Also House of Immolation. Anek is a action thriller. There's Sebos. Okay, Sebos sounds real. SEBBOS.
That sounds like Sabbath.
Okay, so that's not
It sounds
real,
like they've like gotten like theological demon names and sort of like scrambled them together to make like.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I've actually been taking notes. This is my notebook, and
Is that
these
all
are some
entirely
of the notes.
for
Yes.
Mortuary Assistant? Okay.
Yeah. Some of them look like I've been possessed because I was scrambling them down as I was playing.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually, let me tell you the other house. Invidious. There's Shaddad, Azel, Kobos, which sounds very dishonored.
Yeah, so
and Maset.
Azel is like Azazel.
Is Azrael a thing?
Yeah, Azrael's like a standard. It's like a fallen angel name.
Okay. And then the House of Desolation also has Verineth, Fermok, Teshak, and Uskaret.
They sound like they've gotten like theological names and sort of mashed them up.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Sophie. Okay, so we were talking about the lighting strip as one of the tools to like identify demons so we can banish them, but there's other things as well.
There's the baleful reagent.
Mm-hmm.
The baleful reagent is a chemical additive used during the embalming process in combination with, Sin wrote this is not me being flippant, normie chemicals that are used to embalm a body in order to bind the demon to the body.
So
now again, Sin wrote this. This was not me. Oh, hi, Mark. Haha, it's the mark. The mark is a circular wooden tablet used to inscribe the demon's name derived from the sigils discovered around the mortuary. Placing the mark on the embalmed body chest during the body in the incinerator banishes the demon. However, doing this to the wrong body, you will be the one who ends up possessed. Reading through the database makes you prepared for banishing demons. However, it raises I'm going to read this verbatim. However, it raises ethical donuts related to demonology. Okay, I've been able to figure out what this script means just from the context. What the fuck is an ethical donut?
I think I wanted to say dilemma? Ethical doubts?
But what's the ethical doubt related to demonology?
Well, basically, okay, so you got these tools, right? And you're using them to banish demons.
Yeah, which we summoned to begin with.
Exactly. So it's a little bit of like, I don't know about that. So lighting strips, basically it's like a piece of paper you hold and like you walk around the mortuary, and if it's lights on fire, you're like, okay, a sigil is here, and then you like walk around and the sigil appears.
Okay.
That's how you get a bunch of sigils, you match them to one of the demons we mentioned. Now, the baleful reagent, like normie chemicals are the ones when you embalm a body, you fill it with chemicals. Is what I learned. That are like an action. That is like an actual thing. However, what you want to do is the demon that's currently like haunting you because you're messing with like the demonic, you need to bind it to the body. And the baleful reagent is how you do it. So in addition to those chemicals, you pour in some baleful reagent, you put it in the body, and that's how the demon is bound to the body.
So what I'm getting from this is like, we summon the demons to put them in a body, and then we burn the body to make the demon go away.
Exactly, yes. But you also need... Wait, that's not all. We also need the mark. So basically, imagine a circular tablet, okay? And you know how you have the sigils? So on that tablet, you fit in the sigils that represent the demon.
Like that?
So you get... Well, it's big. It's like huge. It's like this big. The sigil is about this big, though. Yeah. You're looking? It's like...
I don't have any plates.
Yeah, it's basically a little big, like a giant plate, yeah. And so what you do is you have like, you put the sigils on this plate, and basically that's how you say, hey plate, this is the demon haunting me right now. And that's why it's important to get the right sigils, because if you get the wrong demon, it doesn't work and you get possessed. So then you take the plate with the right demon name, essentially, and you put it on the body. And you're saying, hey, this is the demon bound to this body, and then you burn the body. Okay. And if you get it right, that's how you banish a demon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does banishing the demon do anything other than send the demon back home?
Well, it helps you deal with your issues in a metaphorical way.
No, but what I'm wondering is, like, is it supposed to be that you're, like, fighting against the demons and this is how you make them vulnerable to finish them off? Or are you actually just sending them back home and they can just show up again later?
I feel like you're just sending them back home, because to begin with, you're the one that's, like, being like, hey, I figured out, like, that this place is how I can get the demons to...
The problem is you won't tell me which character in this story we're supposed to be.
I know.
Yeah, so this is going to be a twist that, like, we're actually Raymond or something? You don't know.
What?
With the demon possessing Raymond's body?
You could be. That's a good game, actually. We should work on that.
Okay.
Like, you're a demon and you're, like, trying to give the wrong sigils. Not the region.
What I'm asking is, like...
Yes.
Do we have any context for what we're doing, or are we just there doing this? Like, do we just wake up one day there, or did we go there?
Well, Sophie, the answer is closer than you think.
But at the start of the game, is there one, or do you just have no context and have to figure it out?
So, I will tell you a little bit later, but the answer is almost here, Sophie. So, in the 90s, Raymond becomes a professor of mortuary sciences. Now, the thing is, it's like, okay, cool, but also this gives him a whole pool of people for him to become assistants, which is a little bit unethical, I think.
A little bit. It's not illegal, it's just unethical.
Actually,
important distinction, yeah.
Now, Sophie, I'd like you to, under the pink you just read, go to paragraph 3 and you can read it.
Rebecca, the protagonist of the game, was a student of Raymond's in the field of mortuary sciences. She became his new assistant in the late 90s. I think specifically she was working for him to finish her internship.
You're starting to get your answers, aren't you?
But do you know you're Rebecca at the start of the game, or are you just doing it this way to fuck with me specifically?
Okay, so here's what happened when I first streamed the Mortuary Assistant. There's a couple of options you can pick from, and I was like, oh yeah, let's pick this option. I think that's, it says like embalm body, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the start of the game. Let's go.
Right.
So, it's like, I appear in the mortuary or show up to a mortuary.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. And so I walk around and nobody's there. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm like, the game is for me as an experienced mortuary assistant. I got to figure it out. So I just walk around, I touch things, I, do this, do that, read descriptions. You're basically just in the mortuary. It's not too big. You can like pick up objects and there's a little description being like, this does this chemical does that. And then I find where the bodies are and I'm like, oh, like press X to get the body on the gurney, press this to do this. And I'm like, oh, I get it. This is like one of those things. It's like a deep game where you got to figure out how to do the mortuary thing, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to use Google. I'm going to have to use like the stream audience. Like, so we got to figure this out together because I don't know. Is anybody a mortuary assistant? I don't know. I don't know how to do this. So I was getting a little bit anxious because I'm like, oof, this is like a real job, And then as we're trying to figure it out, somebody goes, isn't there like a tutorial for this game? And I'm like, what? They're like, didn't you talk to the guy? I'm like, what? So I go to YouTube and I'm like, does this game have a tutorial? Like, I'm so confused. And then I see a video that's like, full playthrough Mortuary Assistant. So I click it. And yeah, there's an actual intro. There's a whole thing happening.
Okay.
I just picked the wrong option. So there's two options in the game.
Yeah.
You can do the story or you can just embalm the body. So I went back and I'm like, let's do it properly now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, basically the game starts off as a regular game. There is like this cutscene where Rebecca is talking to her grandmother in a diner, being like, hey, so I'm at the end of my internship and my old professor said I could finish it with his, mortuary. And the grandmother's like, ooh, I don't like that place. There's like rumors. It's like really bad. And then Rebecca's like, no, like I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. Basically, she goes to her first shift, right? And that's where the guy, Raymond, is like, welcome, and he explains to her, he guides her through how to embalm a body. Okay. So that's the tutorial.
So he's alive?
He's alive. He's like your supervisor. You're Rebecca, and he's your supervisor. Yeah,
because I didn't know if he was alive or you were like finding Raymond's notes after the fact.
Yeah.
And he was dead the whole time. Okay.
He's telling you, so do this to embalm the body, do that, like do this, these chemicals. So it's like a mortuary, at this point, it's like a mortuary assistant simulator. And so you do everything, you embalm the body, but as you're doing it, like a couple of weird things happen. And at some point he just goes, oh, okay, that you did good, please go home. Like, just go home.
Right.
And you're like, okay, that's weird. So Rebecca goes home, and then again, she's in her apartment later that day, being like, talking to her friend, I think Megan. And she's like, yeah, I think he didn't like me because he just like told me to go home. So I didn't get it. Like, it sucks. Okay. But then Raymond calls you. And he's like, hey, can you come in for the night shift? And you're like, yeah, absolutely. You grab your keys, go into the night shift, and you walk in there and like, he's not here, you're alone. And you're like, oh, okay, but I know what to do. It's fine. And then, oh, hello, cat. There's cat.
Is this in... Oh, cat. It is cat.
Okay, and so you go in and you're alone on your shift, and all of a sudden, Raymond, who's outside, locks you in. Calls the little mortuary phone being like, okay, so basically here's the deal. You gotta embalm the body, but also there's demons. And what you gotta do is you gotta guess the right demon and then use the tablet.
Dialogue?
Pretty much. So you know the stuff I told you about the night shift database, the sigils.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, she's like, what the heck? Like, are you hazing me? Like, and he's like, no, this is real. So figure out who the demon is and burn the right body or else. And she's like, okay. So you get to work, you do what you did during the tutorial, but weird things happen, like spoopy things happen, like lights turn on and off, demons appear in the corner of your eye, and sometimes they mess with you. Sometimes it's like you see your grandmother outside the window knocking, being like, let me in. Like, it's very spoopy. The thing is, I personally wasn't very spooked by the game because I was so stressed about doing a good job embalming the body that whenever things showed up, normally like if like there's a loud sound or if like a tree pops up or if there's I accidentally press the pause button and
a menu opens.
I scream and I lose
You see the same tree that you've seen 24 times in this playthrough already. Just thinking back to Kuon.
Surprisingly, in this game, nothing scared me. I was just so stressed about doing a good job embalming me. I was just really annoyed at the demons because they kept distracting me. But yeah, that's the game. You gotta embalm the body, use the strips to find the sigil, use the region to bind the body, do your thing. And the thing is to figure out... Oh, and there's 3 bodies. And you gotta figure out which one is the possessed one. And you do that, like, if you feel like, okay, very spoopy stuff happened during... when I was working on this body, that's probably them. Sometimes this body twitched its feet. Okay, it's them. Sometimes when you, when you analyze the body, you see certain type of markings, not like just blemishes or bruises, but specific markings. You're like, okay, it's them. Okay, so that's the gameplay. You're Rebecca and you're doing this. And then like, let's say at the end of the first shift, you get it. Then Raymond's like shows up and he's like, yeah, good job, well done. But like... and you're like, okay, I quit. And he's like, you can't because it's going to happen again. Because now that I exposed you to it, the demon knows you, so you can't quit. Like, if you leave, it's going to happen anyway.
I'm not sure I like this guy.
Yeah. The cool thing about the game is that you have to do this multiple times. There's like, I think, 6 endings. So every time you come for a shift, you actually find out a little bit more about Rebecca through like the visions, the flashbacks, all these weird stuff. You find out a little more about Raymond as well. And the thing is with Rebecca, she had a very like tumultuous childhood. Her parents had substance abuse issues. She actually found her mother like when she was a child dead of an overdose. And, she had her own, she spiraled in drug addiction herself. And her father like passed away tragically. So she had this very, very sad life. And sort of, when she got sober, she became interested in like, mortuary sciences as like a way to control or to explain all this death, all these horrible things happening around her. So, you kind of, as you play through the game and these things happen, you kind of get this, like, you get that this whole mortuary thing is a metaphor for her, like, battling her own demons.
Right, yeah. The demons are a metaphor for demons, is what you're saying.
Yes, the demons are a metaphor for demons. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So it's very interesting. Yeah, so let's go back into Raymond's head. And as Rebecca banishes demons and embalms bodies, she finds notes, she finds, visions, all sort of things that you can sort of extrapolate about Raymond. But it's like the game never specifically states like Raymond did this, Raymond did that. Like we get some flashbacks, we get the journal entries, but a lot of what I told you, it's like kind of like, okay, I think that's the order. That makes sense that it happened. But like,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I could have gotten some things wrong, but like it's like overall that's the big picture,
Right, yeah.
So Raymond, he hires Rebecca and he knows that she's likely to have the same like sort of messed up ending as his other assistants because several things are possible. Either Rebecca doesn't identify the demon on her first shift and she gets possessed, at which point, Raymond is going to have to...
Not again.
If she makes it through her first shift, she has to come back because Raymond's like, look, you already, like, the demon knows you exist, so you can't escape. You just have to keep doing this so it doesn't possess you.
Right.
It's also possible that through this experience, she kind of like... One of the ends is she gets closure about her father's death. And the thing is with her father's death, that's why it's like really, really sad. What happened is, I think she was like 14. So a few years before that, she found her mother's dead body. Yeah. And I think that actually led to her dad sobering up because he was sober for 5 years before his death. So anyway, she's 14. She goes to this beach party where she goes on like a bender, like almost dies. And her dad, like, is waiting for her at home, and he's like, okay, where is she? He calls the authorities. They organize a search party, and the dad actually finds her, like, half dead on the beach, right? Yeah. And he's like, okay, I found you. It's going to be okay. But then he slips, because it's, like, slippery, and hits his head, and she sees him, because she's just, like, kind of out of it. She can't move, but she sees him just slide into the water and drown. Okay. And obviously, like, that's messed up, and she just keeps blaming herself for it, and, yeah. And one of the things, like one of the hallucinations she has is that the body she's working on turned into her father and they're like, I hate you. You did this to me. It's all your fault.
So it's like part of it is hallucinations and part of it is demonic and it's not clear which is which? Or
yeah, so that's the thing.
Is the hallucination she's having, is that like a normal real world like trauma response? Or are the demons making them happen or is it deliberately unclear?
I think the implication is the demons are making it happen.
Okay. Yeah.
But also it's clear that she's blaming herself a lot. I don't know if she's had hallucinations without the demon, intervention.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you, Sophie. Now, I told you about how things can turn out for Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
But there's actually something else that can happen.
Oh, no.
So you see the link there?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like us to watch this together.
Yeah.
Outside of the mortuary, there's a weird basement place that, like, in the secret final ending, you can get to. And this is what is revealed to you. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
3,
2, 1. Reborn.
Raymond. So this is the voice of Valerie. And he placed her in this giant coffin.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the game, you actually hallucinate this coffin as well.
There's a number of things attached to the coffin. Like there's one of her arms is in a thing. It looks like you can reach her wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a padlock
bucket.
And there's a bucket.
So remember, in the Night Shift database, they were talking about bloodletting or something that you read? So that's what he's doing to her, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the reagent you have to add to the normie chemicals?
Right. Yeah. So he's making it out of her.
Yeah. So he hasn't been helping her at all. He turned her into
a bloodletting beast, if you will.
Yeah. So Raymond just banished the demon with some martial arts magic, but there's something on his chest. It's a giant tattoo with some of the sigils. With some of the sigils.
Right. So he's binding something in himself.
So yeah, he was using Valerie. He set out to help her, I guess, but when he realized in his research he can get a region out of her, he just kept bleeding her, and he is like, that's what it is now. There's another woman locked up in the lower level of his basement.
Is this his mother?
Who's also... Yes, it's his mother who's possessed by a demon. So the notes from the beginning, when they're talking about a woman he hates and is somehow probably implicated in the first demonic encounter, it's probably his mother, who he clearly hates, because when the demon's like, your mother is suffering here, he's like, okay, good. So yeah, what we learn here in the super secret ending is that he's using Valerie for region. So when he said, oh, I must keep her here to help her, obviously at some point that changed, and he's just keeping her in a perpetual state of torment so he can have more region to bind demons to bodies. And then I have a feeling that if he could, he would do the same to Rebecca. Because in one of the endings where she gets possessed, he just locks her up in the basement. And I think he locks her up in the same coffin as Valerie. So, and he has his mother confined there, and he uses her skin to replenish his tattoo that keeps him protected from being possessed.
Right.
So I'd like you to scroll down to the final entry that's in pink.
Yeah.
And please read it.
February 22nd, 1989. I tucked this journal away and forgot about it, trying to move on. I found it again today, and I guess I have been in a horrible place for a while now. I can't live with all this guilt. I feel so alone. I feel so angry at the life that's been taken from me. I stopped my life to take care of her, and she brought this in. I can't blame her. That's not fair. It's not her fault. I have to find a way to stop this myself. I've just been sitting here huddled in fear, hoping this won't happen again. This won't happen to me. I don't have much money, but I need to start researching this in a real way. I need to take control. Well, it says I stopped my life to take care of her, and she brought this in, which implies that, maybe she was, injured or sick or something like that, and then he had to stop what he was doing to look after her, and then she got possessed. Yeah. And that's the beginning of everything. So do you think, did he hate her at this time, or did he grow to hate her over time because of what she did? Because he's like, I can't blame her, that's not fair, it's not her fault. That's 1989, and then that's probably 10 years before the game starts.
Yeah.
And then...
And it was in the 60s that this happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So, presumably, he grows to resent her over time.
That could happen, but also, he always says stuff like, oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, this is so bad. Anyway, I'm gonna get some region from Valerie, if you don't mind now. So he's a back and forth. So maybe he did hate his mother to begin with, and then it's again, this back and forth thing.
Because he's angry. He says, I stopped my life to take care of her, and she brought this in. So there's, an element of, that to it. But then he also says, I can't blame her. It's not her fault.
Yeah, but then when the demon's I'm literally torturing your mother every second, he's like, good. Yeah. Okay, Sophie. So that's the story of Raymond so far.
Well, is there a sequel?
I hope. Well, I read there might be something. I don't know.
Okay.
Because it does end on this cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But tell me what you think of Raymond.
Mortuary Assistant 2 with new elves.
What?
So I don't like this Raymond guy. I'm just going to say it.
Thank you.
I'd also like to point out that recently I finished an internship.
Was it like that?
Well, it's interesting that you bring this up because I can't let it go and it won't let me sleep. Because what's happened is that I finished the internship and then the manager of the place I interned has gone on leave. And basically she said, look, you did a really good job interning. I know I can trust you. Do you mind kind of looking after the place while I'm on leave?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm doing until kind of like early July. I understand how internships can suddenly you take on a lot of extra responsibility. There's no corpses that I know of.
Did you check the basement?
Well, interesting that you ask, because most of what I do actually happens in a basement.
Oh.
And one of the people that comes in, she has assured me that the lift shaft is haunted.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but most of what I do involves crochet, which when you think about it is similar to making sigils and using strips and things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually. Good job,
yeah.
Sophie. Sophie, do the outro.
That was... What was this even called?
Just a snack covenant.
Yeah, literally, it's just called Raymond. That was Mortuary Assistant brackets Raymond. Sin explained the entire of this horror game to me. It sounds interesting. I might play it one day. This Raymond guy sounds like he's kind of a menace, and I was thinking the whole time, like, sure is weird that like Raymond's mother disappeared, all the people that work with Raymond disappear, and they all seem to disappear like in his mortuary. And I'm thinking, why aren't the police and the authorities and these people's families like investigating this Raymond guy? And then I realized what it was.
What?
Everybody loves Raymond. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Sam.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Let us know if you like this format. I can make Sophie guess more games.
This wasn't a format. This was an attempt at a format. That wasn't properly planned. And I've just been given this like garbled text about donuts. And I've just been dropped in the deep end of this game I've never played and don't know anything about, while you refuse to explain it to me.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. And see you all next time.